Redondo, warm? Is it warm?
Yeah, it's that
Yeah,
stagnant, no breeze. Already 78 in the morning. Like
gotcha.
and how it is down here. Like 78's like hot.
Yeah, yeah, totally. No, I got you.
72 is perfect. 78's too hot. 85 is like go outside.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. That's awesome.
Reading's nice though. I had a cousin went to school out there, and I used to go out there and visit her.
Yeah, I like it very much. I mean, we're outdoorsy,
Yeah,
very quiet. The pace is good, and good place. Good place to raise kids, and we're surrounded by mountains and lakes and rivers, and it's pretty cool, man. So
that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculously gorgeous. And then he went out and moved out to the Nelson Ponderosa out there,
yeah,
and he's
mountain
like got
sticks
his
now. Yeah,
freaking trees and trails and
Living off
stuff
the
like that.
land.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
man. I'm such a city. Who was I talking to about? I was talking to a client yesterday about that, and I'm just such a city slicker. It's like, um, I grew up in South San Francisco, Burlingame, and then we moved to Reading, and Reading's not like a big city or anything like that, but
Yeah,
moving out into the country 15 minutes outside of
what's up,
town
Calvin?
and not seeing anybody is just wild. You know what I mean? That's why, like I said, I call myself a city slicker.
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, Calvin. Hey, Calvin, do me a favor, will you? I'm ordering more hats. It takes about 3 or 4 weeks. I want to make good on that promise. And just email me your shipping address and I can get you a HGA hat. Rossi, I'll get you one too, man. I'll get you one too.
What do you got? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Isn't that great?
Love
I'll
it.
get you. I'll ship. We'll ship one to you. Very
Love it.
Cool.
Oh, so
All right,
this
guys. Well,
okay.
hey, we're at high noon, man. It's time to go.
Let's do it. Let's kick it off. I want you to introduce Rossi and all that.
Yeah, yeah. If you'll just get the normal thing going, brother, then we'll
Yeah.
we'll get it going. And
Thanks so much, everybody, for coming. HGA free webinar series. I'm Trevor Nelson, my partner, Jason Ledlow, and we're going to introduce our guests here in a second as well. A little bit about us. We offer the most profitable auction items in fundraising, and then that's all I'm going to do as far as talk about us. That's about the end of it.
Yeah.
But thanks so much. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming. Really, really appreciate it. Everyone watching as a recording as well. We've got a special guest. We're talking about excitement at events, why your event does need to be supercharged. And so we have an expert in that space joining us today. Little house clean stuff, state of the end and win. We're going to give away some HGA bucks as we typically do at the end of the webinar. And then chat function, Q&A function. If you want to ask questions anonymously, feel free. We're going to keep this very, very interactive. And please bring as many questions as you can for us and our guest. Yeah, I think that's about it from house clean. Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, and if you're seeing this on YouTube, give us a comment if you like, agree, disagree.
You're gonna like it. You are gonna like it.
Subscribe. Let's subscribe. All right, first. There's a barrier in.
There's no question.
Awesome. Subscribe first, please. All right, great. Well, get us kicked off, Jay.
Yeah, I will. I got to do one little thing here. Stream. Bam. Let's see if it works. Okay.
All right.
I'm really excited to have Rossi with us. I've known Rossi for, I think about 7 years now, 6, 7 years. And Rossi Morreale is a really interesting guy for several reasons. And I'll let him kind of, if he tell more about some of the stuff that he's done and different things. But let me tell you what I know about Rossi. Number one, he has a company called Emcee Hosts Live, and he provides all the MCs for all the Super Bowl shows. So like if you're tuning in and you're watching Terry Bradshaw and all the folks on Fox and all the stuff, and you stop and you kind of see it, you're going to see Rossi there getting the crowd hyped up and doing all the stuff. And so on Superbowl Sunday, he's running around. And it's 50 shows over 50 shows that you provide the MCs for, right?
Over the week, it ends up being about it's about 10 or 12 stages a day, and then the Super Bowl now goes about 7 to 11 days. It's crazy.
It's just this whole time. So the whole time that's there, Rossi's the one that's making all that happen. And then he also has a TV show, and the TV show is American Air Gunner. And so tell us a little bit about your TV show, because everything it's all about with air rifles and all the stuff that.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been a TV host now for 24 years. I got started in the 2000s on Junkyard Wars, and I did a game show called Temptation. I did Dating in the Dark on ABC, and I did Extra for 5 years and all the red carpet. So I've been a TV host for a long time, and now I'm kind of producing my own stuff. And I've got 2 shows, one called American Air Gunner, and the other one is the Air Gunner Challenge, an 8-contestant kind of shooting competition like the old show Top Shot for $25,000 on the Outdoor Channel.
Oh, wow.
And it's fun, yeah, because I'm from Arkansas, right? So I come from an outdoors space. I like to be outdoors. I like to. Air guns are this new kind of fun thing, right? They're not your scary firearms that do so much damage and scare the crap out of people. They're kind of different and fun, and you can shoot, and there's scholarships for different competitions. Olympic shooting is a lot of air gun shooting, and a lot of people they still think I'm talking about like a BB gun or a paintball gun, and it's that, but a lot more powerful, a lot more accurate, and a lot more fun to shoot. I'm actually in 2 weeks going to a big competition in Ohio. $150,000 on the line for different competitions, all long range shooting, speed shooting, stuff like that. A lot of target stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool. Well, the reason we wanted to have Rossi come on, and I really appreciate him doing this, and Rossi also does a lot of benefit auctioneering, and so does a lot of fundraising, raises a ton of money, really, really good. And, that's the whole thing. So what we want to do is, why is it important to have some excitement? Why does it do it? And then how do you get the excitement for your event? So without jumping around, and please ask any questions you've got of Rossi, if you want to know if he knows anybody famous, because he knows everybody. And so that's the thing. So I'll just ask for you. He knows everybody. But so Rossi, talk to us about, kind of your philosophy on, getting the energy in the room. In the fundraising world, that's what we got to do. We want to get the right people in the room. We want to do all that, but then we want to set the tone for something that's going to be fun that people they want to be at, right?
Well, I believe fundamentally that if you're having fun, you feel better about giving, you feel better about participating, you're having a good time. So I think, a lot of these events, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, it's, you pay a certain amount of money. You typically bring your spouse or a date, you dress up to some, capacity. And a lot of times for a lot of people, this is the nicest event they've been to and probably going to go to all year, at least this month. So, you're on this date, you're dressed up, you're feeling good, you're going to somewhere. Maybe there's music, maybe there's going to be some dancing, maybe, there's going to be a good sit down meal. So I'm on a night on the town with my lady, right? The last thing I want to do is go and be brought down with all the horrible things happen in the world and all the bad stuff that happens in this community, and why this group is here to save everybody and what my money means. And next thing you know, at 2 hours, I'm all dressed up, I'm drinking some wine, I'm crying, right? That's not fun. That doesn't make me want to give money or want to participate. So you got to keep in mind what you're doing. Yes, you're throwing a charity event. Yes, you have a cause that is the most important thing in the world to you and your board and your directors and those, maybe the other 10% of the people in the room, but the other 80% of the people in the room are just out on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Dressed up, ready for some fun. So you have to remember that. And I would say, get in, hit them where it hurts, and get out and make it fun. And I've gone to plenty of events. I've been a part of plenty of events where after I've done it for a couple of years, we've changed it. It used to, come up, one lady or one man comes up and gives a speech about what we do in what the charity's all about. And then we bring up a couple of different speakers that are volunteers, and they tell everyone what the charity's all about. And then now we're going to honor we have a couple of honorees, and we're going to bring up 2 or 3 honorees, and they're going to give you a kind of a speech on everything on what the charity's all about. I get it, right? Yeah. By the 5th speaker, I'm like, I get it. You guys save somebody, something, someone, some problem in the universe. I get it. And you're doing the work. But what you have me here for is my money. You have me here for my money. So tell me what it is. Hit me where it hurts. Honor a couple people. Keep things excited. Let's get to the auction. Let's get to the ask. Let's get to the fun. Let's get to the band, to the what, and let's keep it moving. Yeah. Give people a chance to enjoy their Friday or Saturday night. Make an event that if there was no money involved, it would still be a fun event to go to.
I love that.
Create a dinner, create an environment where if there was nothing happening, no charity at all, couple of speakers, couple of entertaining people on stage, hit me with something at the end. It's still a fun Friday, Saturday night. So I leave there with a smile on my face because if people are having fun, they will give until it hurts. And so for me, I mean, listen, obviously you can tell in 3 minutes of me talking, I have a lot of energy. I am very passionate about life. I love people. I love to be on stage. I love microphones and I love the sound of my own voice. So this works for me, right? Like I like to be on stage and I like to engage people. But the most important thing I do, I would say the only thing that I really do good is I connect with people. I'm good at connecting with an audience of 500 people, 50 people, 30 people, 300 people, 1,000 people. I make it personal to me. I talk about me, my life, what this means to me, why I'm here, and I connect with the people in the room as best I can on a stage.
I love
that. That's it for me, because here's the deal. My role, right? Because the majority of charities that I'm a part of, there's the occasional super kind of, maybe it's flamboyant, maybe they got a lot of energy, maybe they're great speakers, maybe on the side there they are good at public speaking. But for the most part, people that are running these charity auctions are great because they're good connectors. They're intelligent people. They care about something more than the average person does, and they have a belief in this. So it carries them, and that's what they're great at. They're great at bringing people together. They're great at raising money, getting auctions, throwing events. Maybe you've got a board of 5 or 6, 8 different people, women, men, that you just care about it, and you guys are good at throwing events. But maybe public speaking isn't your best asset, right? Maybe being the most entertaining person in the room isn't what you do best. Maybe doing comedy and making a very serious, I do a lot of cancer events and kid cancer events, and like these are some of the saddest, most difficult things to talk about. But at the same time, this is Friday night and I'm here with my people ready to have some fun. So maybe taking that dear, tough to discuss topic and making it somewhat a little bit lighter and keeping it about the night and the fun and the good that we can do isn't what you do best. So make sure the person that you bring to represent and be the voice and the face of this event does that, can do that, can make the saddest moments in life a little bit lighter. Add a little bit more fun, keep an energy about it that's like, hey, this is what's happening and we're doing everything we can, and here's what we need from you: time and money. So have some fun, eat your food, drink all the drink you can, and let's get to giving.
Okay. I'm gonna ask a question that just came up because you kind of went down a road, and I think this is something that I think this matters, because all the nonprofits out there, everybody goes and busts their tail, works their rear ends off to put this event together.
Yep.
Then they get up there, and the person that's going to have the microphone, they go find the cheapest person out there they can do it. And I'm not picking on everybody, because a lot of them do not do that. They get professionals and they're really good at it. So all of you that are doing this, I know everybody here has great auctioneers and professionals, but they tend to have this idea, well, we're going to go, this is where we're going to do it. Okay. So I'm just thinking about this. There's a reason. How many years have you been doing the Super Bowl, Rossi?
This will be 15.
15 years.
Next year will be 15.
You don't do it for free either, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. And all the MCs that you bring, they don't do it for free either, right?
No, they are.
Okay.
They are paid MCs.
They're paid MCs, professionals.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason that at the Super Bowl that they do that.
Yeah.
Because it's worth it. 15 years. It wasn't just a fluke thing that they go, you know what? We've been just getting by having some guys just out here doing it. We really don't need anybody. I think we'll do this without it. That's not the case. They know. This is your Super Bowl. Your fundraising event is your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Very true.
That's how you got to treat it. You've done all the work, all the stuff. Make sure that this is, you don't, you know, it's kind of like having the star quarterback and saying, yeah, we decided to not pay him, so we're going to bench him. This is the deal. And I think that's the point that Rossi's saying is you got to bring all this energy into it, not having, because that's going to transition into something else. Because, and one thing I do want to cover, because I want to ask this question, some fun things that you've seen at events that people do to just kind of hype things up. Like I've got some stuff that I see that I think are really good ideas and fun things that get everybody laughing and having a good time.
Yeah.
But we talk about trends and fads a lot. And so I'd like to get your take on it because I think I know where it's going to go. There's kind of a fad out there. The trend has been that always adding a fund to need, a paddle raise, whatever you want to call it, which I think is really good. But there's a fad that we don't need to have anything else. We're just going to do a really good paddle raise. We're going to have a really emotional story and people are going to want to give. And my response to that is always, what are you going to contrast that with? There's no contrast. It's just what you said. So give us your thoughts on that, Rossi, of being able to have the energy, having it stoked up without having like a live auction or having something, you know, where you're selling golden tickets or you're doing things that are going to, people can cheer for.
Well, I think you got to mix it up, right? I mean, a lot of that stuff is, again, creating an event, right? You're throwing an event, so it's got to feel like an event. I always say mix it up yearly, right? Don't make it the exact same thing every single time, right? Make it a little bit more fun. Like I always like, you know, kicking things off. One thing that always drives me insane is, you know, you've got your cocktail hour outside and then you're kind of shuffling everybody in and you're already 20 minutes late because we weren't sure how to get them from point A to point B, and the sound system's over here, and there's no sound.
The little chime when they go in there, start ringing it, they go ding, 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 and nobody goes.
Yeah, exactly. And then the head, you know, and in a lot of cases, it's the head female gets up there who's kind of putting all this thing together and just starts talking. And no one's listening. Everyone's talking. You can barely hear. And it makes me, I just want to like strangle people, right? I want to be like, sit down and shut up, right? But you got to do something. Someone that's more influential and more powerful than anyone else in that room has got to sit them down and shut them up, right? And you want to be, you're the guy, right? You're the one. This is your event. You know 90% of the people in the room. So you don't want to be mean. You want to be graceful and sweet and loving, and everyone loves you because everything you do. But someone's got to sit those people down and shut them up, and then, you know, bring that person to the table and let them start speaking when you've got everyone's attention, right? So the first thing you got to do is get them in the room and get their attention. So I like that sometimes with a game, right? Heads or tails, or you know, the $2 bills, or like some sort of game that just gets their attention, lets them know, hey, like the show is started, it's happening right here, you know. So you want to get someone up there to just get everyone to sit down and shut up, because so you can get your show started. But there's a way to do that, and there's a right way to do that, because at the same time, you just brought all these people together, you fed them about your alcohol, they're running into a bunch of people they don't know and haven't seen in a long time, so they're chatting, right? So how do you get it? Give something away, do something up front to get people's attention and get that going, right? And that right there kind of sets the tone for the event, right? If you hit them with something up front and it's exciting, they're like, oh, this is different, this is going to be fun, right? So now you've got them, and then you can kind of move through. Man, events are so different these days, but I don't think you just want to go, hey, how you doing? Here's who we are. Here's a sad story. Here's a sad person. Give us your money.
Yeah, you need more.
You need more, right? You need it to be a little bit more dynamic. I sometimes like those events. It's like, hey, how you doing? Here's what we got. Here's who we are. Here's a couple of things right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And then kind of we'll be back, and people are like, oh, this, and then we're gonna, now here's some food or some dessert. Hey, we're back. Here's a couple of honorees. Here's a thing. Boom. Here's the ask, right? And then maybe hit them back with an auction, right? But because you're kind of keeping them guessing. It's again, everyone's attention span is, right? I mean, it's 8 seconds, right, at most. So if you start a program and then you just run it for 2.5 hours, I mean, what would you do? I always say, like, what would you do if you were at this event? Would you be like, this is amazing, right? Or would you be like, oh my gosh, like you're killing me? And also, who's speaking the most? If you got a 2.5-hour event and there's someone on the microphone for 2 hours of it, would you want to listen to him for 2 hours? Are you back in the corner going, I could listen to this guy all day? Or are you like, yikes?
Yeah.
You typically you're the answer to your own question. If you're like, this
Yeah.
guy's hilarious, or this girl's hilarious, or oh my gosh, this is great, I'd say you're onto something. If you're the back going, oh, what did they just say? Oh my God, then that's not your person, right? If your closest board members or the people you come up and they're like, man, that could have gone better, then that's not your person. And typically you got to spend money to make money. I mean, you just do, right? And I was compared to a garage sale, right?
Yeah.
When you throw a garage sale, even with a garage sale, you'll buy a clothes rack, right? Put some signs out, buy some lemonade and put some music on. Maybe you put it into the paper. You'll spend a little bit of money to give away your stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you'll literally spend some money. You'll put time and energy and spend money into giving your stuff away that you don't want anymore. If you're going to throw a charity auction with your items, with your raffles, with your auctioneer, with the entertainment, you put a little bit of money in that, it's gonna give you mass amounts of extra in the long run, right? A better band is going to have people leave and go like, man, that was great. We got to go next year and we got to bring our friends.
Precisely.
The right auctioneer that creates fun is going to give you a long-term win on your investment. And I will say this, there are a lot of auctioneers out there that cost you too much, that they're asking for too much, right? You should not be paying someone's, a year's worth of salary to one person on one night. I don't care if they're raising $5 million, right? You just should, but you should pay them what they're worth. And I always give people an option, right? It's like, look, there's an upfront fee. Get some auction items, right? So I can make a little bit here on the back end. If you don't want to pay me up front, I'll take a certain percentage of the money on the back end that I raise over what you were expecting, or I'll take a very small percentage of what I raise overall, with a cap, right? It's like, protect yourself, but at the same time, just because Jimmy's funny in the copy room during the week doesn't mean he's going to be lights out on stage for an hour and a half in front of 1,000 people.
Well, you just said something really too, and I think this is one thing. As good as you are, as much experience, all the stuff, it's still really hard to go and carry something for a couple of hours. You got to have some breaks and have some pauses and starts and stops, because you're eventually going to run out of material. I mean, the best comedians in the world go for what, an hour? And so that's not what this is about. It's not, well, we've got to have somebody up there we've got to have somebody talking the whole time. You don't. You really don't. No. I think it's better to get it going and get it stopped. I think there's some things that you can do. You mentioned a game. One of the coolest things I saw somebody do was, and this was a very, formal, big, blah, 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 yuckity yuck deal. And you know what they did? They had shots of,
Fireball.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Fireball shots. They brought out trays of Fireball shots, sold them for $300, walking around with a tray, and every table that wanted one, and they started doing it, and it got everybody laughing and having a good time, because it was like, everybody's in their tuxes and stuff, and all the big, beautiful gowns, and they've got champagne and all the things happening, all this, and then they're doing shots of Fireball. And it was the funniest thing. And from that deal on, it just set this awesome tone that everybody was there to have fun.
Yeah.
And they also raised a lot of money, because you can buy a Fireball for $5 a gallon or something like that.
You mentioned something interesting about keeping it lighthearted regardless of the mission. I think that's important, obviously.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, a run of show of 2 hours plus that's torturous, right? What was interesting about what you were talking about with the fun and the excitement and the engagement is, and my mind had not gone here yet, but you were really, painting the picture. It's like, and I actually, Rossi, I never heard anyone say even if there wasn't fundraising involved, even when we weren't asking for money, it should be an event that you still want to go to. So I love that. No one ever said that before that we've had on. So I thought that was really, 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 really poignant. Another thing is, I almost feel like it's a form of escapism. I mean, we talk so much about what's going on, with the mission in folks' lives. They get all dolled up, it's date night. We're going out. It's a Friday or Saturday evening. I thought it was, you were kind of painting a picture of almost like escapism, you know what I mean? In the best possible way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, when was the last time okay, for me, last time I threw on a suit and my wife threw on a cocktail dress and we went out for on a night, probably an event.
Yeah.
That's not what we do on Friday. I got kids running around. It's like just to get away, like jeans and a t-shirt is like, well, you look amazing. I mean, so it's rare for a lot of people, I think, to actually really get dressed up nice and go and have a dinner and drinks and see some friends and have some fun.
Yeah.
So you want to make it special, right? You want to make that feel special and fun. And, I just, it's like if you're running the event, it's like you've got to have that one person that can help you step back and get away from it, because you care so much. You care so much about this cause. You put so much of your time and energy into it. You care so much about the people that are there. But the fact is, the majority of people in that room don't. They don't. They are either friends of the honorees, right? And so they've come, or, you've got your probably top 10, 20 board of directors that they've each brought 10 or 15 friends, and they care about them, but and they don't want people to suffer, but they don't really care about your event. They just don't. And it's not a bad thing. It's just they got invited, they paid $500 to go have a dinner, and now they're there, and now you're going to hit them up for money. They're sitting there going, I hope this is fun. I want to have fun. They're not going, so they're like, Jim, it's good to see you. Like they're there to have fun. So you have to sometimes take that one person that's kind of running the show, and you got to step back and look at it from our perspective of, man, I just worked a 40-hour, 60-hour, 80-hour week. I coached 3 different teams. I missed my kid. I got a babysitter for the first time in 3 weeks. I'm dressed up. My wife looks great, and we're ready to have some fun. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. Don't beat me over the head with all, all the things. Yeah. And it's just something to kind of keep in mind. And I say that, I promise, with all the love and respect in what people do to put events on, because I know it's not easy. But if you want to maximize that event, you got to realize that there's 25% of the people in that room that care as much as you do about that. And the other 75 are just there for a good time.
Yeah. Well, and I think, Rossi, part of your, one of the points you're making is there is a point in a time where you can pull the heartstrings.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There absolutely is, but just not the whole entire night. Yeah. You got to just come up here and say, we're going to have fun. We're going to do this, and then have some fun. And, you were talking about the whole thing of the, what is the feeling that you want them to leave with? Well, if they don't go, man, that was a lot of fun, they may think, oh, that was a really cause. That story was real heavy. Wow, that was something else. Sure, I'm glad we gave her $500. That's not. But if they had fun, they're going to be ready for next year, and they're going to be talking about it to all their friends, and they're going to be talking about it to other people, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, yeah, where were you at? Oh my gosh, we went to this event. We had so much fun. It was a really good time. My wife was all dressed up to the nines. Everybody there looked great. We saw people we hadn't seen in forever. They had this really cool run. It wasn't boring at all. It was a lot. We laughed and had a good time. Yeah, we wound up buying a trip and gave some money to this deal, but boy, it was a good
and
time.
Didn't mean to, didn't even want to.
Yeah.
Because people that are having fun will give. I was having this conversation recently with an event I was doing, and we were talking about this and that, and kind of this whole thing, like how, and it's children's cancer, and that's why I kind of brought that up. And they're like, how hard do we hit him, right? And they're like, because we've got this one kid, they're gonna bring him up, and and I was like, I go, have you ever seen the movie Marley and Me? Marley and Me with it's about this family, and they get a puppy, and they basically go through life. The dog gets old, the dog dies, but the wife and the husband have all this problems, and it's a very compelling movie. And the idea is about this dog's life that goes through this life with this family and their kids, and then ends up dying at the end. And right, it's like it's the life of a dog, right? It's one of the it's an incredibly great movie, right? It is heartstrings. It is sweet. It is loving. It is the movie I went and saw with my wife years ago when I realized that was the woman that I wanted to go through all these hard times and live life with. It was that movie. Mm-hmm. One of the most touching movies I've ever watched in my entire life. I've never and will probably never watch that movie again. You know what movie I've probably watched like 10 times the past 2 years? Dumb and Dumber and Dodgeball, right? Because those movies are fun. Yeah. Yes, that movie changed my life. It's one of the most sweetest, most tear-jerking movies I've ever seen in my entire life. But I'm not going back.
Yeah.
It hit me where it touched me, but I really don't want to be hit there that consistent, right? But I'll watch Dumb and Dumber. If it's on, I'll watch the last 5 minutes of it, right? That's how people are. You can hit them in the mouth with everything you got, and you might get them that night. You might get them that night. The problem not coming back.
Yeah.
Right? There's got to be a balance of when they leave, they feel good. They had fun. It was a good cause. It was a great mix of, and they had a good night. If they leave, they're going, wow, that was the saddest thing I've ever been a part of. And I was so grateful to help and give. But like the next time you get that event in the mail, you're going to go like, oh, no.
Yeah. Well, it's heavy. You're like literally talking about like weighted versus weightlessness. You want folks to leave floating. That was a great evening, as opposed to, I mean, I understand the heartstrings and I understand the mission. Very, very heavy. So you're carrying that weight, not a burden, but a weight, right? When you leave, I think it's visceral. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had go ahead.
No, go ahead, Trevor. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just thought it was funny. We just had someone, it's like lighthearted, floating away, like bought an item, they're carrying it above their head, going, I won this, that kind of thing. I think that's what we're all aspiring for at these events. That everyone, like, Jason says this often, and I've stolen it. It's like, it's really hard to put on a bad event. I mean, it's really hard to put on a good event, so you might as well make it good, make it fun.
You're hard.
Yeah, it's still going to be hard no matter what. But we had a guest on, I forgot who it was, but they said, oh yeah, by the end, some ladies were dancing with their shoes off, and I was like, that's the kind of event you want. You want folks where they're comfortable enough in the gown to take their shoes off and start cutting the rug. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And then we've said this 4 or 5 times on this episode as well already, where you're interviewing for next year, and there's the the FOMO that we talk about often with events, and folks don't want to miss out. If they did, their friends had a blast, they want to go to the next one. So the best time to start planning, we were talking about 10 months in advance, 12 months in advance. It's like the night of your current event is a great time to start planning.
Wait till next year. Wait till next year.
Yeah, exactly. Great call. Yeah. And putting that out, dangling that carrot or projecting like that, I think is actually a really, really smart move. Yeah.
Well, I think the overall mindset of the charity organizer is, as much stuff as we get for free and we sell it, then we maximize our profit. And it's just not how life works, right? I have a lot of thought. I meet with all the organizations that I work with, and I talk to them, and it's all of it's common sense stuff, right? But if someone gifts you a Jim's condo in Bali, right, and you're like, oh, we should auction that, that'd be great. Like, I've never been to Bali. I don't even if I go there, I don't even know what to do when I get there. So help me, right? If I want to buy an experience, I want to buy an experience. I want to buy a package. I want to know that what I've just spent money on, I don't have to do anything. It's already taking flights, the stay, some activity, right? I want it to be an event. I want it to be something that I can't get anywhere, right?
Yeah.
quarter carat diamond necklace.
Yeah.
Get that down the street that's not special.
There's
Right?
50 places you can go get that.
I get it was donated, so you're like you're maximizing your dollars, but you're just not. I mean, I have so many cases where we've gotten this free package and we've added $1,000 blank tickets. One time a wine fridge or whatever, and then that maximized that 10 times what you put into it, right? So it's just
now you're talking about the power of auction items. Now you're talking about the power of auction items.
It is, but I think
in a good way. I mean,
goes because it's an energy, right? It's an energy. It's like, man, I got to get this trip. It's got the thing and once I get there, I've never done this. I've never done this. Like, look at all these fun things in there. And then now people are talking about it. And then I'm walking around the room before it even starts during cocktail. I'm like, oh my gosh, who's going to get this Tuscany trip? This thing's got the boats. It's got the wineries. It's got, and you're building an energy from the get-go, from the ground up. You've got all the organizers and the board. They're walking around. Oh man, that Iceland trip. I've got my eyes on that. We've always wanted to go to Iceland. Plus, you get to do the luge and the thing, and you're going spelunking. Like, oh, I gotta get that. And then this he's like, there's an Iceland trip. This guy wants it. I want it because there's such a competitiveness in auctioning. You got to remember that an auction is a competition. Once you get two people involved in one item, they both think like that is mine to lose, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Totally, absolutely.
You got to pray on it, but it starts early, right? Get
advertising.
Talking about the events, talking about why this trip is great, right? Build that thing. Hey, did you buy this raffle item yet? You got to buy the necklace because then we're going to do the heads or tails of the first. You got to get this. And hey, don't miss out on that Tuscany trip, right? You've got, I always love it when the high school, the parents' kids get involved. The high school, college kids are walking around selling those raffle items during the cocktail hour, kind of pumping up some of the things coming up later. Oh my gosh, this band, they were at my high school dance last week. The kids have the best time ever. What? Right? So the energy starts from the moment these people walk in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and
well, the energy can start before they walk in the room too. And it's very easy for us being the trips and experiences guys. I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Ross. I think you'll definitely agree with it. The idea that you can create this excitement 30 days out. Right. 2 weeks out, a week out. So there's no surprises. We're big believers in there not being any surprises as far as like auction items and exciting things to bid on and participate in. As a matter of fact, use that as an opportunity to stoke the fire, so to speak, and let folks know what kind of opportunity and fun that will be had based on items or, tickets and things of that nature. I think that's huge. I think it's undervalued, as a matter of fact. The advertising. Yeah.
Hey guys, I got a question. I'm gonna break there. I'm going to get it to a question. So Lisa brought this question up. It's really good. She said, in your experience, what are some experiential aspects that have high impact with lower cost investment? And she gave kind of like I think there's maybe a choice. And so I think this is really good. Invest in beautiful decor versus better foods and beverages versus entertainment. I think it's a great question. So Rossi,
no one's ever left an event and been like, man, did you see the tablecloths at that event? Those were amazing.
Yeah.
It's not what you remember, right? I always say, and with Event Host Live, we deal with this all the time. An event will call us and they're like, we got, Verizon. I'll never forget the Super Bowl in New York 13 years ago in Times Square. They built a two-story building in Times Square, in the middle of the road. Verizon, they call us. They're like, man, we got this event. Like, we need someone. We're going to do interviews. We're bringing players, and they're going to be moving up. We're doing games. They can get up on top, talk down at Times Square, all that stuff. And they're like, we're looking for something. Got a budget around $500 a day.
Yeah. Okay.
You spent $2 million building a building in the middle of Times Square, and now for 12 hours a day, you want someone to be the face and voice of this for $500 a day?
Yeah, it's pretty
wild. What'd you spend money on? Well, $40,000 on plants. You think that's going to get you more Verizon subscribers? They're going to leave going, guys, let's take a selfie in front of the plants, right? Because there's that thing too, right? You want people to promote your item, use their social media to promote your event.
Yeah.
So I would say, get your budget together and find your entertainment. find the
Yeah.
voice of your event and find what people are coming from. Is it a DJ? Is it dancing? Is it a band? What is it first? And then work through the decor.
Yeah, love it.
Because if at the very end, you've got to
Beverage.
cut, if at the very end, you got to cut a tablescape or a couple of candles over here or the perfect matching carpets on the ground in the corner, that's an easier thing to cut than like the band. You know what? Let's just use that high school band that we saw for free.
Yeah, totally. I think it's you're absolutely correct. And it's a great question, Lisa.
Well, I want to touch on food. I want to hear that.
I thought that's like a little sleeping giant. I think food and beverage. I think having like some
here's the thing.
creative ways.
You're better off to have a simpler meal that doesn't suck than try to oversell it and it sucks. Because I will tell you, if the food sucks, when they leave, they're gonna go, yeah, the meal was terrible.
Yeah,
food's terrible.
Literally,
that's what they're talking. That's what I've been at them. I've been to those deals and they're leaving. They're going, God, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
Or why didn't they have a freaking bar?
Yeah.
Why did I have to pay for everything?
I'm sorry, I thought that was understood. You definitely need a bar.
It's like something to me when they go, well, we're going to do a cash bar. Why?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Why? You've invited people have paid to come here, and now you're going to. That's part of the deal.
We have the good fortune
with lubricating intoxicants.
We have the good fortune of knowing folks like Rossi. And having folks on talking about this kind of stuff. We also have the great fortune of like getting data from hundreds, if not over 1,000 events annually. What I remember recently was we had this high school we've been working with for the past few years, and they decided to go, with a real creative, signature cocktail, and they had beautiful trapeze, scarves and what have you falling from the ceilings with, champagne flutes and whatnot. And they're, it was different. Folks came to their event, had never seen anything like that before. And they said, you know what? It was creative. It was fun. And folks want to come back to it next year because it was it wasn't like the other high school fundraiser, events that they had been to. And so I think that we can certainly overthink things, right? But I think the differentiation piece and just not being afraid to like change. I mean, what's the worst thing? Basically, the antithesis of everything we're talking about is like being rigid. We've always done it this way. This is the way we've always done it, so that's how we're going to do it. And it's like Charlie Brown's teacher, at the event. It's at the wah. It's just not fun. So
I think about. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, it's like you need a little bit of everything, right? You don't want to walk into a white room and there's like one balloon on the wall, right? I mean, decor is key, but at the same time, I mean, I see people spend. My favorite is always the giant tablescape in the middle of the table that you're like, that costs so much money, and then like as soon as the event starts, everyone moves it because they can't see the other person on the round table. Yeah. Right? Your tablescape should not be bigger than the person. Like if I can't see those three people that are into the table, I'm just here, right? So if I can't see the stage because there's a 10-foot tall, gargantuan tree statue in front, it's like I always see people like, and then those up on the ground, right? And so it's again, a tablescape is great. People like to feel like, oh, this is fancy, and I get it. But there's also ways to do a lot of that creatively, inexpensively. A lot of the things I'm talking about are not expensive, but put your money where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And like you said, I think that's food and beverage, and I think it's entertainment.
Well, I want to point something out, and I think this is going to make part of the key is whose agenda are we following?
Good call.
Because we go get an event planner. I used to be partners in an event planning company. It was fun, and we did real well with it, and had this incredible event planner. She was phenomenal. But the fancier she could make it, the more stuff, the more money was made. And so whose agenda are we following? Are we following the event planner's agenda? And we work with a lot of great event planners, so it's all fine. But I mean, are we doing because they're trying to give the dream, because they want to build out this, this super dreamscape with the 3-foot, things in the middle of the tables because it's going to look really cool and they're going to be able to post it out there and show everybody else and do this. And it's costing, $500 a table to do it. Is that what we're doing? Whose agenda are we following? Are we following the agenda that we're trying to raise money? We're trying to bring new donors in. We're trying to increase what our mission. What's the priority here? Are we trying to just show off? Because you can have I've seen this where you have a committee chair who is, we wanted her to be the committee chair because one, she can write a big check and she knows everybody and she'll just get everybody in there. But then all of a sudden she takes over and she wants this done and this done and this done, and she's not paying for any of it.
Yeah.
And so that starts going down this path of where are we going? What's our goal? What's our mission? Well, if our mission is to raise $250,000, and we've got a budget, this is what our budget is, and we all need to work with a budget. But we're taking, like you said, we're taking from this and taking from that. Next thing you know, we've, instead of having Rossi Morreale, we've got a potted plant up there who's going to hold the microphone well, which one would you rather have? And I mean that sincerely, because we get down to the point, well, we just ran out of money. We just don't have it in the budget. And it's a month out.
Yeah.
We literally, Rossi and I were talking about this last night, kind of prepping for this, and we were talking about an organization. And, it was like they're all of a sudden talking about raising $1 million with 200 people in the room and doing all this stuff. And then they're talking about, well, we decided we're trying to find some lower cost stuff. For what?
Yeah.
And it just, and so what happened, I don't know, and there may be a great reason for it, but I guess where my point is who's driving the bus? And sometimes as nonprofit professionals, I think you guys out there that are putting on these, because there's so much hard work anyway. These things are hard. We talked about this in a podcast the other day. Whether you do it right or you do it wrong, it's still hard. Doesn't matter. And so you're going to go all this work and doing all this stuff, but don't let your plan get co-opted by outside influences. Where I'm going with that. Don't be negotiable with some of these things.
About not having too many cooks in the kitchen too.
Hold the line, hold what you've got to do, but put the priorities in place. If you could have the most beautiful deal, but if it's a stale stick deal, nobody's going to care, because all they're going to do is remember that the food sucked and the guy that was on the microphone just annoyed the heck out of everybody.
Oh yeah. And event participants, people, they're very judgy, right? For the most part,
they all are.
You go to an event, if you don't like it, you're very judgy about it, and people talk, and that rumor spreads. So again, it's. For the most part, I think there's no real perfect recipe for success, right? But if it's not an event that you want to go to, right?
Nobody else is going to want to go either.
Yeah,
Yourself as a barometer.
That kind of stuff is pretty simple. And then find those people, let people do what they're good at, right? Find those people that are those good, the conservative, financially, that can also decorate really nice. Use that, delegate that kind of stuff. Get this stuff for free for you can, and then have someone, hey, step in. Well, what do you think of this? Hey, you do not care about this event. You're my friend. What do you think about what we're doing? Does this sound fun? What do you think? Does this look good? Get those opinions from people a little bit on the outside, because again, I think as organizers, we get so far in sucked into our own event that it's hard to look from an outside perspective. And then I think if you focus on overall, is this going to be a fun event? I'm not saying you got to have trapeze, you got to have like a 10-piece band, but are you doing things that are you breaking things up a little bit? Are you giving people a break? Are you letting people just have fun, just kind of chit chat at their table and have fun? Right? Yes. Are you beating them over the head with stuff all day? Are you asking them when they come in for a raffle? Are you asking them to be a part of this? Are you doing the ask? Are you doing the raise? Are you doing the paddle thing? Are you taking the paddles? It's like, oh my gosh, you can only ask so many people for money so many times, right? So sure. Just making sure that you're diligent about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and giving everyone a chance to be involved, right? From $10,000 to $10, right? find something for someone to be a part of. Have those big ticket items in your auction, have those small ticket items in your auction where you can sell 20 of them, but it's only $2,000, right? Versus $12,000.
Yeah.
Try to give everyone in the room a chance to be a part of something, and then they feel like they're a participant, where they're not just in the back, can't participate, don't have enough money, right? Because you also don't want people to feel small at your event. Right. You want everyone to feel empowered, like everyone makes a difference in what you're doing. Everyone can make a change, right? And you kind of pull together as a group, pull together as a room. I got to tell you, and this may be frowned upon, but I am not a fan of everything being right here. I like paddles. I like hands, right? It's energy. I want that, right? I'll bid $100. I'll bid $1,000, right? Paddle, right? But if everyone's just, oh, Jimmy, $1,000. Thanks, Jim. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else out there? Oh, $100 from Sandy. I get it, but it's not that much fun.
Yeah.
For the people in the room. It's just you've literally taken an exciting event and been like, hey, everyone, pull out your phones. What? Can you imagine being a comedian and being like, okay, everyone, welcome to the show. If you pull out your phones, you can watch my set on YouTube. It's the energy in the room. It's the contagiousness. It's the fun. It's the get $10,000. Yes, round of applause. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else? I mean, that's crazy. I can't believe it. That's awesome. Great shoes, by the way. Anyone else? $10,000. Let's light this room on fire. It's that kind of stuff that just this guy did it, so this girl wants to do it. This woman did it, so that guy wants to do it. Right? This company did it, so this company wants to match. Right? Put people on the spot, not uncomfortably, right? But in a fun, let's do this together kind of way. And that to me, I think is just that creates an energy in the room that this just doesn't. I mean, even if you're doing it online, it's like, who will give me $1,000? You, sir. Thank you. Now, you got to go to your phone and put that in, but thank you very much. Who else? Show me your hand. I want to see. I want to see a whole table of hands, right? Get people invested, right? Get their focus, because this is not their focus. They're not paying attention. And odds are they're like, oh yeah, I'm bidding, also watching the game.
Yeah. Hey, Rossi, you said something interesting. I'm not going to paint you in a corner necessarily, because there might not be a perfect answer, because every event, is so different. You said don't want to over-index folks on asking them too many times to give. What's kind of a sweet spot just for folks that might be thinking about, like, how many times should I ask folks for money? I got the golden ticket. I got the silent auction. I got, some online stuff. I got the live auction. I got the fun and eat. Like, what's your perfect recipe? If there is one, if there doesn't have to be one necessarily.
Yeah, I think the raffle thing is great, right? I think that's a great thing. People walk in, hey, part of a raffle, it's exciting. And I love the a lot of the events I'm doing. It's like, oh, you'll be a part of a raffle, you get this, right? So now I've got on a glowy necklace, I've got on a chain, I've got on a something. So that now I walk up like, hey, where'd you get that? Like, oh, part of the raffle. They're doing the heads or tails or whatever right out of the gate. Now this guy's like, why don't you have one? Right. Or then now you got your people walking around. It's like, hey, I noticed 2 of the 4 of you have on a necklace. You guys don't want to miss out. Right? It gives you something to play with and lets people know I'm a part of this, and another group of people, I'm not a part of this.
FOMO, baby.
You create a little competition, right?
Yep.
So I think that's good. And I like, I mean, again, it depends on the event, but I like those to be affordable. I like that to be something, $100, I'll throw $100 for that. That's great. When you start to kind of the golden tickets, and I love those, but when you start, getting, $500 for the raffle, it's like $500 is a lot of money, right? But $100, $150, I mean, again, it depends on the event, but I like that thing to be affordable. That's something that right out of the gate, everyone can be a part of.
I like that.
I like an outside kind of random wine pool, whiskey pool ride. It's like $10, $20. I get to pull a bottle of wine. I can drink it at my table. So I like that, because now you're really you're giving everyone a chance to participate. You're going to have your silent auction. You're going to have your live auction. I'm a big fan of keeping that silent auction, open it up before the event, and I mean, I like close that thing after the event, because I think a lot of people get have some items that aren't that they got to be bid on that night, but some people get caught up and they're talking and then they forget to go back, or they don't get the alert, right? So give yourself a chance to maximize those opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Also, or just at least like that night, you're going to shut it down at midnight, right? So when I leave the event at 10, I'm like, oh, now I'm a little bit tipsy too. I'm like, I'm going to win this, right? So there's a little bit. So give those shit that like open at 6, close at 8. It's like, I mean, sometimes it works, and sometimes it's like, look, I want you to get in, get out, take your item, and get at it. But again, I'm going. That's again event specific, I think.
Yeah.
But the raffle, one of those little kind of like some sort of pool at like a very low amount of money, a live ask and an auction. For me is good. That's 5. That's plenty of opportunities for me to get involved in. It's a couple of opportunities for me to kind of like guilt you into bidding. The raffle, I have a necklace, right? The raffle, the wine pool is kind of like, oh, this is fun. Like, come over here, get a chance, right? There's
but deliberate, absolutely,
right? And it's very much my choice.
We're in lockstep with you on that one. We're in lockstep with you on that one. Yeah, because it can be
well, with the raffle, when it comes to the raffle, you're talking to probably at best 25% of the room. At best, when you're doing a raffle, you're talking to 25% of the room for the most part. You've got maximum probably 10 items, and that's 10 people. And if they're big items, they're gonna go to the they're gonna go to the big.
You mean the live auction? Yeah, gotcha.
The live auction, right? That ask is when you have a chance to kind of bring everyone back, on board. The silent auction is a great opportunity to kind of get everyone on board. Have a little bit of every scale type of event.
Yeah, you can get a lot of data from that, of course, from the silent and from the live as well. Oh, from the ask too. I mean, there's just a ton of data there. It's so good. Yeah, I think it's lovely. Yeah,
guys, we got 6 minutes left. We're pushing up against it. I'm going to get this deal pulled up. I'm ready to have a drawing, but I want to ask Rossi one quick question, just a fast answer. How much time do you want to see set up for the for fundraising?
Like a run.
We got something we recommend that how much time you're going to spend asking people for money, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
From start to finish, like ask, auction, award, everything. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I say 2 hours maximum, because again, 10 auction items and a good ask, that's going to take me about 45 minutes, right? So I think a run of show should be 45 minutes or less. So it kind of the time you start, some couple of breaks in there, the time it's done, like kind of a 2 hour max, maybe hour and a half, I would say, of full show. I think is good. 45 minutes or less on the tear jerking stuff. Be specific, be poignant, get in, punch him in the gut and get out. Hit him with some, give me some money kind of deal. You don't need to drag that out. If they're at the event, you tell them what you did once. They know what you did, right? You want to honor a couple people? Great. Hey, Jen, when you get up there, I need you to say thanks. Love you all. This is such a great thing. And sit down. You got 2 minutes on your speech, right? Don't give me up there and give me a 15-minute long.
So smart. Give them a ceiling. Absolutely. Yeah.
Here's something that you could do too if you got that. Film it beforehand. We've had a lot of people. We had a deal where they were having trouble with that. They started filming it off. That way they could edit it, see it, making sure it was all right. And then the person just literally, they would play their little 2-minute clip, and then they would just come up and stand there and get their award. It was the coolest thing ever.
Give the microphone and let it go.
Well, because they've never spoken.
Give a guy like Jason or Rossi the microphone, see how fast you get it back.
I'm never going to get it back.
Keep those video edits quick, right? You're going to talk about what someone did, minute. Right? Like 90 seconds, like kind of like maximum. You want to do hey, what did we do this year to show everyone like this is what we do and how many people we've touched? I mean, maximum 2 minutes. And I mean maximum, because you get in, get out. Here's what we do. Here's why we're great. Here's why we need you. Come on. Right?
That's not an opinion, man. I mean, that's just people's attention span. It makes all sorts of sense. Yeah.
A 2-minute video, you're at the end, you're like, it's like,
well, that's what I was. Yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad you said that, because why is Snapchat the biggest deal going? We got one question, then we're going to do the drawing. Are you suggesting leaving the silent auction open after close of the event? How long? And what about closing the event or opening up a second chance a day or two after the event?
I like the second chance for the stuff that didn't go as good. I understand that sometimes you want to get the auction item. You bought it, come get it and get it out of here. I completely get that. but then, but then maybe leave that open just till the end of the event, right? There's a lot of that, like before we get into the live auction, we're going to close down the thing. I don't understand why, right? Because there's always going to be that after moment where people are kind of walking around, they got nothing to do, they're checking out, like, right? Like give them that, maybe 30 minutes before the event. And then maybe half the items that are trips or things that are online that aren't physical, maybe those do stay open, or you have that second chance the next day, so you can kind of email it out to the group.
Not disagreeing with you, Rossi, at all. I like the second chance for things that didn't sell great. I also have seen folks with achieve a lot of success with a second chance on things that did sell great, where they have a quantity of them, where they can give folks a chance in case they missed it, they were in the bathroom, what have you. So I think either one will work. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah.
If you are going to close your auction like into the night or early, open it up right a week before. So at least get people looking at it, right? So you're already starting to get some bids before the night starts.
Yeah, some momentum. We're going to spin the
wheel.
All
right, guys. Hey, we're going to spin the wheel. We've got a winner. Suzanne Jalot. I think it's Jalot.
Hi,
if I said that wrong, forgive me, but we're going to make it up to you because you're going to get to do something. So just reach up, touch the screen, and here it goes. And let's just see what she's going to win.
Right on. Here we go. What do we got?
All right, $300 in HGA bucks. So Suzanne, you can use that against any one of our items and to help you in your next fundraiser and raise more money.
We're going to be reaching out to you,
Suzanne. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks everybody for coming.
We had somebody, just so you guys know, it's real deal. We had somebody cash in $700 in HGA bucks yesterday. So whenever they called, they said, "Hey, I've won twice."
That's crazy.
Huh? Yeah. I know they won twice.
Yeah,
I don't even remember who it was.
That's awesome.
So it's really a deal, and I mean, we reduced the invoice by that much, and hey, it's a real deal. So, Rossi, brother, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thanks so much for coming, Rossi.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for bringing the
everybody. Give Rossi a hand.
Appreciate it.
We thank him so much for being here. Yeah,
that's awesome.
All right. Hey, we're going to put Rossi's email when we send out the recording. So if you have any questions or if you'd like to inquire about having Rossi help you out, that'll be on there so you can reach out to him directly. And man, we really appreciate you coming. And, congratulations, Suzanne. Thanks for the questions.
Hit us up for anything. You need any events. We're happy. We're on the West Coast, but we do a lot of entertainment across the country. So eventhostlive@gmail.com, and love to hear from you.
Awesome.
Thanks, Rossi. Right. Thanks for being available to everybody as well. If they have any follow-up questions, appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Rossi. Appreciate you coming.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Cool. All right.
Thanks,
we'll see you guys.
Talk to y'all soon. See y'all next Thursday. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.